Shalom. I am going to begin this video with some short video clips of an interview done with Dr. Jennifer Daniels. And I chose these video clips because she does an amazing job exposing the corruption within the medical system, the judicial system, and the educational system. And as anyone who is seeking the truth and researching on their own, questioning everything, they will come to find out that the rabbit hole goes very deep and everything is interconnected when it comes to all of this corruption. And so I want to draw your attention to what she is talking about with these systems. And I want you to look at how these for-profit corporations are getting away with the kidnapping and the molestation, the abuse and neglect of children and parents and families under the color of law. And they continue to view what they're doing as noble, as heroic, as good. And I also want you to stop and take a minute to understand that everyone has a responsibility in this. And each person will have to give account for their actions, what they chose to do with this life. And when it comes to coming in and taking people's children in the way that it is being done today, without due process of law in a true court of record before a jury of one's peers, it is being done by people who are power happy, who are abusing the authority that they have been given to come in and kill, steal, and destroy as many people as possible. And my focus has been on so-called blacks because they have been systematically oppressed more than any other people. And there is so much evidence out there of this. Now, this does not mean that other people are not being oppressed as well. In my other videos, I've talked a little bit about this. There is more that is going on. And the Most High Yahuwah is in control, working out His purposes. And we need to just take time to slow down and to look at things through the lenses that He gives instead of the lenses that this world gives. Now, after I play these video clips, the interview with Dr. Daniels, I am going to share some video clips by Mrs. S to give the perfect example of what Dr. Daniels is talking about, to really focus on this for-profit corporation of CPS or DCF and all of their contracted service providers, the useful idiots, and the institutions that are in place that have been indoctrinating people to view what they're doing as something that is good, when it is in fact anything but that. And so I thank you so much for watching. I thank you for sharing. And I hope that these videos bring you to a point where you are able to see things through different lenses, and that there is an outrage within you that drives you to continue to seek the truth, to come out of the lies, and to stand up and expose the corruption, to no longer be a part of a system that is systematically oppressing people and kidnapping their children for no cause, and doing so with the backing of an injustice system that is profiting off of the backs of everyone that they are coming in and destroying. It is time to say that I am not going to be a part of this anymore. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for sharing. Shalom.
My guest tonight is Dr. Jennifer Daniels, a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine and Wharton School. She holds a medical degree and an MBA from those institutions, respectively. While in medical school and practicing medicine, she noticed that patients were not improving, and often their conditions were worsening. She then decided to give the patients the option of, the standard care and natural therapies. And after that, she noticed, after those patients chose the natural therapies, that the death rate in her practice dropped from 4 to 0 in a year, I guess. In a year, correct?
Immediately. The same year I instituted the policy change, the death rate went to 0.
And she also found that she wasn't having any after-hour emergencies, and that's when she got into trouble. Patients were getting better, and that's when she started to get the attention of the system.
And so that was the end of that. Then I got on another do not employ list. That was one. Another do not employ list is I can't work for anyone who has a government contract or anyone who works for anyone who has a government contract. So now we're 2 generations removed from the government.
Yeah, so pretty much it's like 3 degrees of separation.
Yes.
And the terrorist watch list, which I know what's going on here. They can just arbitrarily, administratively decide to put you on the list, and you have no way to appeal. Just a way to further marginalize you and intimidate you.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that arbitrary.
Totally. In my case, I don't think it's arbitrary. I think they were.
Arbitrary. Yeah, there's no basis in law, or.
No, there's no basis in law. But if the government is at all displeased with anything that you do, or if you fail to obey, I'll just leave it at that. Obey. Then you can find yourself on the list. The goal, of course, is to put everybody on the list, so nobody has any rights.
Yeah, I heard an interview you did, and you're talking about how when you were on this list and you were subjected to higher scrutiny when you were traveling, you're being treated better than most people are treated now. Correct,
but I was being treated worse than the people of the day.
Yeah.
So I was on a list back in 2002, 2003, and so I was being treated terribly. I was being pulled out of line. Female security was paged emergency to the gate where I was at. My baggage was opened and searched. And they weren't doing this to everyone back then. Mm-hmm. But now they're doing the level of scrutiny I got back then is now de rigueur for everyone. So what they do is they just try it out. Even the fact that people find it acceptable to stand by in a line for an airline flight and watch other people be searched and submit to searching themselves is really what the problem is, that they don't realize where this is going.
Mm-hmm. You were put on the terrorist watch list.
Yeah, I'm still on that list today, as well as the do not employ list.
And the do not employ list, I think that involves companies that are the direct or indirect recipient or beneficiary of federal contracts?
Correct, of any kind. It goes beyond that. If the government is a customer at all, for example, a hospital accepts Medicare funds, it can't hire me even as a janitor.
And this is done without any justification or due process or appeal, right?
Correct. Well, they told me I could appeal, I could write. So I wrote them a little 4-sentence thing saying, hey, guys, come on. And they said, we saw your appeal and quite frankly, we're not interested.
Education is another issue where I think a lot of people just acquiesce to the current system.
But it dovetails into the healthcare system. So, like, for example, I was a school doctor, and literally, I was ritualistically raping these kids. I was told to do a physical exam on all the boys, and every single boy I had to fondle his testicles. Supposedly, I was looking for an undescended testicle. Well, this was done at birth. There's no way it needs to be done in first grade, fourth grade, 8th grade, and 12th grade. And so these parents, their kids are being stripped, they're being humiliated, they're being fondled, and it's wrong. And I actually quit that job because I felt like what I was doing was wrong. This was totally unnecessary. And I never found a single thing wrong with any of those kids. And these were inner city schools. So that's the introduction to their body is not theirs, to allowing someone else to violate them. Then they have health class, which is just atrocious. It teaches them the importance of vaccines, the importance of checkups, the importance of screening exams. And so these kids are indoctrinated into the healthcare system.
This is the full spectrum dominant system that was established by the Rockefellers, to the school.
Or whoever you want to blame it on.
Yeah.
But this is health class. When I was going to school, I'm 58. When I was going to school, they didn't have health class. So this is a new thing. This, in the past 20 years, I couldn't believe it. Yep. Kids would come home, Mom, we learned this today. I said, that's not true. It's a lie. And so everything you're teaching these kids in health class is a lie and sets them up for a lifetime of paying health insurance premiums to be mutilated, tortured, and killed. And so the educational system is actually an important part of it.
Yeah, it's because it indoctrinates them to accept this, being told what to do, to accept the stuff without any critical thought, destroys critical thought. Oh, so remember when we say Rockefeller, we're not talking just one man or one family. This is an entire system, and elite. It's an entire system,
but also we have to take personal responsibility. If you work at a hospital, you're part of the killing. If you work for an insurance company that writes health insurance premiums, if you work for a drug company in any capacity, even if all you do is write the commercials, or if all you do is read the commercials, if you're a newscaster and you're reading the evening health segment written by the drug companies, you're all part of the killing. If you're a teacher teaching health class with the curriculum written by the drug companies, you're part of the killing. And I think each one of us needs to take a hard, close look at our lives and say, how are we advancing the killing? And how can we stop doing that? Just each person take a look at their life and say, I refuse to participate in murder. And that's all I did. All I did was say, you know what? I'll do anything, just about, but I draw the line at murder. I'm not murdering anybody. That's one thing I'm not going to do. And you'd think that wasn't much of a line to draw, right? I mean, I was willing to do anything. I wasn't going to murder. I wasn't going to falsify anything or lie. That's it. Anything else, I'll consider it.
That reminds me of the John Taylor Gatto.
Mm-hmm.
I think he won the Teacher of the Year in New York for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, he began a teaching career on using someone else's license.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. But in his speech, I think he finally said he got sick of ruining kids' lives, so he couldn't teach it. Yeah, and that's kind of it's a similar, I think, epiphany that he had and choice that people have in these things.
And you see what happens. So John Taylor Gatto left the system, and what happened? He made as much or even more money outside the system as in the system.
Mm.
And most people are conditioned, again, this is conditioning, to believe that they are actually going to make a financial sacrifice by walking away from the system. And it's quite the opposite.
So, Dr. Daniels, it's been a trip, and I don't want to take any more of your time tonight. But again, I knew it would be because I've listened to your shows and read your website, and it really, to listen to this stuff again, it's paradigm shattering to people. Not to me, because I've come into this stuff gradually over the years, so I see where you're coming from on this stuff. It really is. These systems are fraudulent. University systems are fraudulent. The university's there to dumb everyone down, to indoctrinate you, to cover you in debt, so you're a
lifetime slave.
Lifetime slave. Yeah. Same with and that's K through 12. So, and the medical system isn't there to cure you. And you've spelled it out why isn't the whole. If you don't think of it as a conspiracy, think of it as a business plan.
Yeah, it's a business plan.
Yeah.
I don't think of it as a conspiracy, and it's like calling a cliff evil. No, just don't jump off the cliff. That's all. You see a cliff there, just go the other direction.
And the system, what these systems do doesn't necessarily require a few psychopaths at the top, although that indeed may exist. And that cabal may exist somewhere, but these systems, corporate systems, they create a collective psychopathy because people are so compartmentalized in their thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what you're getting within much of this explains the medical system and other systems, the war systems, the Pentagon, the bureaucracies, how people can do such inhumane things, be a part of something so horrible and be so banal about it and not care, you know.
The other thing is it takes 18 doctors to kill one patient. And so each doctor doesn't feel like totally responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing, is dispersing the responsibility so each person doesn't feel responsible. And I would encourage people to feel totally, completely responsible for everything in their life. And that's going to drive them to taking some serious positive action that will make them more free. It'll make them a lot wealthier and a lot healthier.
But less controllable.
But they get all the other pluses with it. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this edition of Leak Project. I am your host, Rex Baer, and tonight we have guest Dr. Jennifer Daniels, a graduate from University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, and at the same time she completed her studies at the Wharton School, receiving a medical degree and her MBA at the end of 4 years. Now, while in medical school, she was concerned that patients were not improving with the therapies she was being taught. So she was told that the patients were poor and due to financial and educational limitations were often not able to comply with therapy. Now, also present methods were not perfect. Half of everything being taught was not beneficial. The medical school staff did not know which half, and ongoing research would sort it out. Now, you've been through hell and back with the work that you've done. You're wanting to help people, and now you're considered a terrorist. I mean, how does that work in the Twilight Zone? I guess it makes sense, but if you would please tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and let's get into this testimony. It's just so powerful, so we can wake some people up.
Well, I think what happened was I, like many American citizens, believed the propaganda I received from my government schooling. I believe the government cared and that they wanted people who were upstanding and honest and hardworking. And I said, yes, that's me. And I want to do the best I can and uplift my country and my neighborhood and all of this stuff. So that was my basic attitude. And with this attitude, I finished my studies. And so people don't realize that when they go into a doctor's office, they are unwittingly part of a genocide project. And the doctor, now more than ever, is committed to sticking to the genocide program. Why? Because now we have electronic health records, and literally before you even get home, your medical records have been submitted to the government. And that doctor's work is being reviewed before even the end of the day. He can get some pretty harsh feedback if he gave you a choice or if he deviated from the standard of care.
Now, with that being said, what do people do in order to get out of that big pharma situation, when they are caretakers like yourself? I mean, do you just have to say, look, I'm just going to forfeit my medical degree and I'm going to go into alternative healthcare, or because...
That's a good question. So I think for people to really get a grip on this, you have to understand what else happened. So what happened as a result was my license was suspended. I was placed on 2 do not employ lists and the terrorist list. So this is what your doctor is up against if he refuses to participate in your killing. And I want to make it clear, this is not murder. Murder is unauthorized killing. Murder is when a person does not have special government permission. The doctor has government permission, it's called a medical license. The hospital has government permission, it's called a hospital license. The drugs, the pharmaceutical companies have special permission, it's called FDA approval. So all of this killing is approved in advance by the government. And so then if a doctor refuses to participate, his only choice is to give up his license. If a doctor does not participate in this killing and he bills your insurance company, that's fraud. Because the insurance company is only paying for medicine or health care delivered as a part of the standard of care.
So with that being said, now in today's day and age, are there options for people like yourself and where you can actually feel safe to do practice here at, in the United States?
Honestly, no. When I say no, I'm saying that a licensed physician, as a condition of licensure, must adhere to the standard of care. And the standard of care is intrinsically lethal.
So how long did it take for you to say, okay, I'm going to leave this place? Now, first, before we get into that, let me ask you this. They put you on the terrorist watch list. They put you on the do not employ list. Is there a way for you to legally go after them? I mean, can you get a good lawyer? Really?
No, I've spent a lot of money. And at some point, you have to decide what your life is worth and how you want to spend your life.
Because they've got unlimited funds, right? So they can just keep throwing money at the best lawyers out there. And with all the, I guess, loopholes, they could probably keep you in litigation and stuff like that forever.
Yes, but you're talking about loopholes. In my case, they just didn't even, they ignored the law. In the process of going after me, they broke several laws. They would not, for example, allow the patient's chart as evidence in the hearing.
So basically, it sounds like the court was bought and paid for.
Well, absolutely, but these were all government employees. And then my lawyers that I did hire, and when we were starting out, I thought that, $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 should be enough to handle this, right? Doctors who succeeded in keeping their license, like Dr. Atkins, spent over $1 million in litigation. And so that is the price a doctor has to pay to try and keep his license. But then once you keep your license, what have you got? You've got permission to adhere to the standard of care. And so then you have to ask yourself, is this really what I want? Of course not. Of course not. And so for me, then it was pretty obvious. I said, well, I don't think I want a license. As the proceedings started shaping up. I mean, if it's really a crime or a violation of my licensure to lower someone's blood sugar from 475 to 135 in 1 week with no drugs, if that is a violation, then I don't want to comply.
And then why did you finally decide to leave the United States? Like, what took you to that point?
Well, I didn't feel safe because they suspended my license. I thought, okay, fine, no problem. My license has been suspended. I'm just going to live my life without a license. But then I started getting these letters from the government telling me, you're on do not employ list number 1. I said, okay, that's not a very big do not employ list. I can handle it. Then they said, you're on do not employ list number 2. I said, whoa, that's pretty broad. It's like 80% of all jobs in America. Then when they put me on the terrorist list, I said, wait a minute, this is getting pretty intense here. I think they're serious. I think I need to leave while I still can.
So what are these letters like, signed by government officials or?
Yeah, they're signed by government officials, XYZ, head of the Medicare program or Medicare subdivision of blah, blah, blah. So I cannot be an employee of any institution that accepts Medicare funds. So I couldn't work at a hospital, say, as a janitor, because the hospital takes Medicare funds and I would be an employee. So I said, okay, no problem. I just won't work at any of those places. But the second do not employ list expanded it to I couldn't work for any government agency. I couldn't work for any company that had a government agency as a customer. And then I couldn't work as a consultant to any such business that had the government as a client or customer in any capacity.
And this is all because you basically wouldn't follow the rules in prescribing certain medications, essentially.
I think that and the $30 million bank heist. I mean, when you interfere
that probably
with the
jump-started
ability of government, to accept bribes, that's huge. That's pretty huge.
So that was probably the mark, and then anything they could use in their mind against you because of the rules and regulations in play, that's what they decided to do. I just find it fascinating, though, if you actually could get a jury and a judge. I mean, I just don't know enough about the situation. So, but somebody that was non-biased to the situation, I should say.
You can't because they control the evidence. Okay, so I was not permitted to have any witnesses. I was not permitted to admit the patient's medical chart as evidence. What does the judge and the jury have to go on?
Right.
It's a mystery to them. They know something happened here, and it must be bad. Why else would the government do this? I mean, I appealed this thing so high that the Supreme Court Appellate Division in New York State said to the licensing board, because they had no evidence, right? They didn't have a patient chart to look at. They didn't have anything. They said, look, we don't know what this doctor did. We don't know why you're after her. But we can tell you that you did give her an illegal penalty. They suspended my license gave me a lifetime license suspension. The law only permits 3 years. So, the judge said you gave her a penalty that by law you were not even authorized to dole out. And the judge, this is a judge employed by the government, right, said to the licensing board, look, if you want to take her license, this is the way you do it. And they walked the licensing board through it. So this is what you have the authority to do. So go back and do this. I mean, how's that for a fair trial?
It's mind-boggling. And then, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you could get a court...
I just want to say, and that was a victory. That was considered a landmark victory case in New York State. You can look it up.
Jeez. I mean, if there was a way to get this out to where somebody had enough funds to back you or something to get your name cleared and say, look, why in the world would you put somebody on a terrorist watch list because they had certain beliefs that they felt like what they were doing was the right thing. And then if you can actually get to scientific data that shows that you're correct, it's just mind-boggling. But like you said, because of all the rules and regulations and people in play, that's just the law. And if you don't if you don't follow the law, then you're a terrorist if they want you to be.
It's beyond that. The government is not obligated to follow the law. So in my case, they did not follow the law. The law clearly states that they have to make the patient chart available. They did not. The law clearly states you cannot investigate a doctor if the patient improved with therapy. I mean, the law clearly, there's so many laws they broke. And that's one thing. Once as a citizen you get caught up in all this, you realize the government doesn't obey any of the laws. These laws are written for the slaves, that would be us. The government doesn't obey any of these laws. And once you get that, then you understand the futility of even working in the legal system.
I just came back from looking for my babies. My babies. I don't know where they at. I went to the visit today. My baby haven't been touched. Somebody been touching my baby. I went to go change her pamper. She wouldn't let me change her pamper. Her hole is open. Somebody's been doing something to my baby. My son says she been touching his penis. Miss Gail is her name. I don't know anything about who they're with. I don't know anything. DHS Net Core 7, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania won't tell me anything. My baby has been touched. Today is Sunday. May 21st, 2017. My baby Heaven is 1 year old. 1 year old. She been touched. My baby has been touched. I need everybody do whatever you can. My baby has been molested.
Hello, Michelle. How are you? I told you my name already. I gave you my name, so if you would like to speak with me, please refer to me as who I am. But what did you need to discuss with me?
So what I'm doing, and I would appreciate it if you please just try to refrain from the negative talk.
Oh, that's not negative. I'm just explaining to you. That's what I need from you. So you want to communicate with me.
Okay, so do you want to communicate about your children or not?
First of all, I told you those are my biological property. They don't belong to you or anybody else. So I need to know what belongs to me.
Would you like to hear about the medical visit they had yesterday?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so as far as the medical visit, I'm looking at the documents right here, and I can leave them up for you at the front desk, or I can send them via certified mail to your home at 1031 Stabers.
Okay, what happened at the visit?
It was at the doctor's visit?
Yes.
I'm about to read it to you. So the doctor found no evidence of any sexual abuse. However, while they were doing their medical examination on Heaven, they did cause a 0.5 centimeter tear.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. What do you mean a tear?
Hold on for a second.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What are you? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So the doctor was using her fingers to examine.
Yeah, what you mean using her fingers? Why would she put her fingers in my baby?
No, that's standard procedure for the doctors to examine. You said that Heaven had
to do that. I never gave you permission or anybody permission to do that. And I'm not trying to hear that. What do you mean a tear?
right, and so that is very, very, very unfortunate. And my case aide was there.
And I'm not trying to hear that. She was already open when I checked her. I'm not trying to hear that. And y'all not going to cover this up. Every last one of y'all will be held accountable for this. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
This is the number, if you can see it. And this is the, like you can see it, but the call is 3 minutes, 11 seconds. That was the call that I had the next day when I checked my baby on Sunday at the visit. My baby hole was open. The next day I get this call from the so-called Net Core 7 case manager. And this is what she said to me. So this is it. And I have many more recordings. I record everything. So I have all the recordings and it can't be denied. So for all of you who don't believe what I'm saying, you heard it for yourself from off this recording on my phone. And I'll be posting more updates and more videos. But I'm not on here to prove anything to anybody. If you have anything negative to say, please don't post no comments on my videos. Don't even come to watch them, because I explained everything I needed to explain, and I don't have time to go back to comments and explain to people and try to convince people when I'm going through this and my baby is harmed. I don't have the time. It's not about you. It's about my babies, okay? It's about me getting them back and holding all of these criminals accountable who are doing these things. So please don't post no comments on my videos if you don't have anything nice to say. Just don't even come. Don't even watch the videos. Oh my gosh. Every time I watch these videos, I get upset. Every time I listen to these recordings, I get upset because my baby has been harmed. I need prayer. I need all of y'all to pray for me and my family. I'm fighting. I'm working on prosecuting now. So, all who see this, please contact anybody, all the outlets, anybody that you can, whoever you know that might be able to put this out there, contact them. Share the video with them, share the videos to everybody, share them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of social media outlets. Just share them, because like I said, this fight is everybody's fight. It's not just my fight. If you have children, if you have people that you know that have children or babies that you care about and you love, this is your fight too. It's May 30th, 2017, 5:59 p.m. I just spoke with my oldest daughter, Kata, not too long ago, and she told me that they suspended the visits with her seeing my baby Heaven and Brian until June the 6th or something like that. They constantly talking about stuff is court ordered, but they keep constantly violating these court orders. If it's court order, how in the world are you going to terminate our visits? They've been hiding my babies. I don't know where my babies are at. What is happening? Like, what happened to my baby? Ever since Nashante Robinson calls me and tells me that my baby got a 25 centimeter tear from the doctor examining her, which is a lie, because how the doctor going to examine my baby like that if y'all claim y'all didn't see no signs of sexual abuse? What did she do to her to cause a 25 centimeter tear? Or did my baby already have that tear when I seen her at the visit on Sunday? When I said that her hole was open. Oh my God, like, whoever watched this video, like, they are violating us. My baby has been assaulted, and something needs to be done, because I'm telling you, I'm not going to continue to allow this to happen to my babies or me. Like, I'm going to do something. Listen, the police need to be contacted. The FBI, I contacted everybody I possibly could, and it's like they're not listening. They're not doing nothing. Like, y'all need, whoever watches this video, contact who you can, because my babies, I don't know if my babies are all right where they are, like, if they okay. I don't know. They in danger. Like, this is unacceptable, and I need y'all help. Like, I'm pleading out, and I'm tired. Like, it's nothing that's happening. Like, I need y'all help. I need your help. My babies need your help. Contact whoever to get to the bottom of the Judge Joseph Fernandez, Nashante Robinson with NetCoa, Rose Morgan with NetCoa, Darren Wiggs Hughes with DHS. This is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I don't know where my babies are at. They supposed to be in the second chance foster home with some lady named Gail, according to my son. Like, but I need your help. This is unacceptable. I gotta find my babies. I gotta rescue my babies.
Do you know? Do you know? Why them Georgia trees are being burned down? Well, I know, yes, why them Georgia trees are being burned down. Yes, I do. Well, 'cause they hung all of my ancestors from them. And judgment is coming, and it's coming real soon. Yes, ain't no use in running, no, ain't nowhere to run to. Best be on your knees praying. Maybe he will leave a sign. Well, these are the days of Noah, and you are running out of time. Ooh, do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Why the Malibu trees are being burned down? Yeah, ooh, well, I know, yeah, why them Georgia trees are being burned down. Yes, I do. Well, 'cause they hung all of our ancestors from them. They ain't gonna get away with it, 'cause judgment is coming. Yeah. And it's coming real soon. Yes, I ain't no use in running. No, ain't nowhere to run to. They best be on their knees praying. Yes, maybe he will leave a sign. Well, 'cause these are the days of Noah, and we are running out of time. These are the days of Noah, and you are running out of time. And you are running out of time. Yeah. And we are